There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers. A dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends. A place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view. But when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. It's a brand new week and you're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness. I'm your host, Dave Schrader, along with me, Tim Dennis. Supernatural news and some Parashare tonight, Tim.
Yeah.
You got a lot of good stories pulled up for us?
Sure.
It doesn't sound like you believe it, Tim.
I do.
You do.
I thoroughly believe it.
All right, good. Yeah. Well, tonight we're our sponsors. Let's make sure we mention it. Birch Gold Group and Casper Beds. You got your bed. We're going to hear a little bit about that later. Tim, you liking it?
I do. I love it.
All right. We'll talk about that in a bit. And I also want to mention we're going to be doing Coast to Coast AM this Saturday. And my guest will be JT Townsend for the last 3 hours of the show. We're going to talk about the Charles Lindbergh abduction, kind of a true crime Tuesday brought, if you will, to Coast AM. We're going to look at America's flying ace hero and look at a possible darker side to this story, Tim. Did you know that there's a possibility that Lindbergh may have allegedly known more about this plot and subsequent death of his own son than even he let on?
Really?
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Greg Lawson will also join me for the first hour on Coast to Coast AM, and we're going to talk about paranormal perceptions. He's an author and a researcher, as a law enforcement official. He's going to talk to us about the outlines and the many dynamics that actually can affect the way people experience a memory, Tim. So by identifying those kind of weird undercurrents, experiencers can actually understand their involvement in what they perceive as paranormal and be more effective at it. So he'll be with us in the first hour of Coast to Coast AM. The rest of the week for our show looks this way. Dr. Lynn Kitai will be with us tomorrow. We are not alone, Tim. It's the 20th anniversary of the Phoenix Lights. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. Jenny Ashford joins us to talk about the unseen hand, a new exploration on poltergeist phenomena. Jimmy Church, Tim, from Fade to Black and fellow fill-in guest host on Coast to Coast AM will join us. We're going to take an interesting look at conspiracy theories. We're going to discuss the conspiracy of theories. What drives people to look for nefarious schemes behind tragic events? We'll talk about the outlandish, dumb, and some of the most amazing conspiracies with Jimmy on Thursday. And then Friday, we'll wrap up with a brand new Theater of the Mind. Varla Ventura is our guest. Fairies, pukas, and changelings, a complete guide to the wild and wicked enchanted realm. You're going to want to stick with us for this week to hear all of that. I mentioned True Crime Tuesday, Tim.
Yep.
Because we've been talking about it for a couple of weeks. We did a test here on our show to bring True Crime Tuesday back, and you guys answered resoundingly. We did 4 episodes, and you guys knocked it out of the park with downloads. Absolutely great. And we were looking to bring True Crime Tuesday back starting tomorrow on Podcast One. We decided to take it in a slightly different direction, and we wanted to do a little experiment of our own. So we are taking it to Patreon services. We're going to make True Crime Tuesday available to you. And this is one of our shows for the first time, Tim. I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to make it available ad-free.
Oh, wow.
And in order to do it ad-free, we have to, of course, incur the costs of production and recording studio, the streaming costs and everything to make this available. So we're doing that through Patreon. And now you can join us by going to darknessradio.com. You'll see the big banner for True Crime Tuesday on the front of the page. You'll see a video there that kind of describes what I'm talking about now. But you can subscribe and you'll get 4 episodes. At least 4 episodes. In some months, when there's an extra Tuesday, you'll get an extra edition, no extra cost, but you'll get 4 episodes a month, Tim, for $5.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you do the math for me on that?
I can. That's exactly $1.25 an episode, Dave, which is less. Like if you were to go to iTunes, get yourself a 3-4 minute song.
Okay.
It's 99 cents to $1.29 a song. That's for 3 to 4 minutes, Dave. You're getting for a 90-minute to an hour and 20-minute episode. You're getting that for just $1.25.
That's right. And you heard Tim right. A 90-minute to 2-hour episode every Tuesday, where we're kind of constrained to a 60 to 90-minute show here on Beyond the Darkness. With our Patreon show, you'll be able to tune in and get anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 full hours, because we want to make sure that we have enough time for our guests and to hit up with the new Dumb Crimes, Stupid Criminals for the week. Our guest tomorrow on True Crime Tuesday is JT Townsend, and we're going to talk, Tim, about the Cincinnati Psycho, a strangler in 1966, a chilling encounter. A conservative Midwestern city in the 1960s confronts a mysterious serial killer, Tim, and its own escalating racial turmoil. This is a chilling, true account of a very brutal time in our history. Boston Strangler was kind of grabbing the headlines at the time. Mm-hmm. The Cincinnati Strangler went underneath the national wire. But we're going to talk about this bizarre case, and we'll do that tomorrow. And again, to get those episodes and subscribe is just as simple as going to darknessradio.com, clicking on the banner, and you'll see the banner there on the top of our page for True Crime Tuesday. It'll take you to the Patreon page. You can subscribe and never miss another minute. And it's $5 a month to do that. That's all. $1.25 per episode. $5 a month, Tim. What's that? The cost of one Caribou or Starbucks coffee?
Yeah,
it's a good coffee.
Yeah, not that unicorn frappuccino stuff.
No. Yeah, it's about $5 for a cup of coffee. A good one you'll put there anywhere. Probably the cost of one beer at any bar on any given night.
Here's the deal. If you're really craving that unicorn frappuccino stuff,
right,
I will come over to your house. If you're more than willing to get the True Crime Tuesday, I will come to your house and throw glitter in your toilet for you for $5.
He won't do that, folks. He won't.
I'll do that.
No, you won't. You can't make promises you can't keep, Tim. That puts us out for legal issues, and then you'll be part of True Crime Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
As you're on the run with pockets full of glitter.
Well,
trying to make good.
I generally am anyways, Dave.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on in our world, and we hope that you'll take that journey with us. For years, you've been telling us that you support us, you want to be a part of it. And listen, we've told you, we love doing the show. And for many years, we've been doing the show for barely break even. Mm-hmm. And we're going to continue making our show here, Beyond the Darkness, available through Podcast One. But True Crime Tuesday, we're going to take more control of and give it to you ad-free by signing up at the Patreon page. And you can do that again by visiting darknessradio.com. Click on the True Crime Tuesday banner to sign up and subscribe now. Let's get to it, Tim. We've got a lot of news to cover this week. Where are we going to start off in the world of supernatural news?
Well, speaking of True Crime Tuesday, Dave, there is no such thing, it turns out, as a statute of limitations.
What do you mean?
There's no such thing.
Well, I think there is.
No.
There really is.
If you shoot a president, Dave, I'm not saying that I'm giving you carte blanche to shoot a president. But
no, don't. We're not even
I'm
saying that you shouldn't do that.
I'm saying I'm not giving you carte blanche to do it, Dave.
Right.
But should you shoot a president?
No, don't do that, though.
No, I'm not saying you should.
Right.
But should you shoot a president, Dave?
Yeah.
You don't have carte blanche to shoot a president. But should you shoot a president, Dave, you do not have a statute of limitations.
I don't believe that to be true at all.
As a matter of fact, should you shoot one 150 years ago or more,
right,
you can still be charged with a crime.
Well, see, that is a statute of limitations, isn't it? There is no statute of limitations.
That's what I just said.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I guess I was misunderstanding.
There is no statute of limitations.
Okay, right. Okay, now I'm with you. I'm on board the ship that you're sailing on.
Right, okay.
All right. So what are you talking about? Well, I think if you murder anybody, there's never a statute of limitations. But what are you talking about, 150-year-old presidential assassination? What do you mean?
Well, a man from Virginia turned himself in at the FBI headquarters last week, claiming that he was guilty of killing more than 30 people,
Yikes.
Including the 16th president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln.
What?
Now, I know you're thinking John Wilkes.
Jumping gigawatt, Smarty. Has he stolen the DeLorean, Tim?
No.
Okay.
No, you're thinking John Wilkes Booth. Maybe he was like, surprise! Guess who's back?
Wow.
Back again. Booth.
Wilkes is back.
Yeah. Tell a friend.
Back again. Booth is back.
Nope.
Tell a friend. No?
Nope.
He's not back?
No.
He wasn't put in ice like Captain America and thawed out again 150 years later.
By golly, here he is.
Yeah.
No, 71-year-old Leroy Timothy Anderson.
Let me do the math. He's 71. The assassination took place 150 years ago.
Yep.
If I kick off my left shoe and right shoe,
Yep.
I'm going to drop my pants and
No,
subtract.
don't do that. No,
I still don't come up with a number that puts him there.
My God.
Even with a tainted nook.
Hey, I don't want to see your tainted nook. I'm just saying. I mean, I know we're friends and all, but 71-year-old Leroy Timothy Anderson claims he worked for 35 years as a time-traveling assassin.
Oh.
Yeah, for a secret governmental agency.
Uh-oh.
And says he has killed people in various times, going from 1678 to 2239, Dave.
Yikes.
He went forward
Jeepers
to
creepers.
kill people.
Okay. And I wonder if Andrew Bashago, our time-traveling attorney, knows of this.
Oh, I'm sure he's got him off the hook in many decades.
Do you think so?
I'm sure.
All right. Well, he did. It is weird because Andrew Bashago said he was sent to the past to find out who truly killed Abraham Lincoln.
Dun, 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 dun.
Come with me if you want to leave the stupid play.
I bet.
Okay.
The elderly man declared that his actions were all legitimate and ordered by the government, but that he fears his former employers might want to eliminate him because he knows too much. Feel like you've seen this movie before? You probably have. On the next episode of Soap. No, I don't know. He claims that he was part of a program called the Kronos Project, which was designed, coordinated, and executed by the United States Central Intelligence Agency. Oh, that pesky CIA.
Yeah.
And the United States Special Operations Forces under the supervision of the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. We've heard of them as DARPA before from our good friend Andrew Bashago.
I used to love that show, DARPA and Greg.
Oh, I did too.
She was so cute.
Yeah, I know.
Jenna Elfman.
She's back in a new series now.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, Imaginary Mary. Yeah.
This ultra-secret program would have orchestrated more than 1,200 assassinations spreading out over almost all of human history, including most and many famous characters like Martin Luther King Jr., Julius Caesar, or Mahatma Gandhi. They just went all through history, Dave.
Wow.
Yeah.
This guy's taking responsibility for killing all of them?
His story was clearly one of the most fascinating that I've ever heard, said FBI Director James Comey. Yeah. Mr. Anderson not only claims to have killed President Lincoln, but also 32 others. He's been busy, including at least 12 who are not even born yet.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't think you can arrest him on those quite yet.
Not yet.
That's thought crimes. And if they arrest him now, doesn't that stop him from killing people in the future?
That's a whole minority
Or has he already
report
killed
thing.
people in the future and come back to this point?
Yep.
Hold on. Here. Let's try to
All right.
process. Let's try to process this. Now I'm feeling a little bit more open-minded.
Not even Snoop Dogg gets good stuff like this.
Yeah.
I know that the FBI isn't going to open an investigation, Comey said. I don't think this man killed anyone. I think he has just lost contact with reality.
Yeah, there's a chance of that.
Comey said. According to the FBI, Mr. Anderson was previously diagnosed with dissociative disorder and schizophrenia.
Or at least that's what the government wants us to believe, Tim. We'll have to talk to Jimmy Church about this conspiracy.
Problems which could explain his strange confession. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated on Good Friday, April 14th, 1865, while attending the play Our American Cousin at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., as the American Civil War was drawing to a close. The assassination is generally believed to have been planned and carried out by the well-known stage actor John Wilkes Booth.
Doom, 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 doom. But we believe it's something else.
Or was it?
Doom, 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 doom.
As part of a larger conspiracy in a bid to revive the Confederate cause. Mr. Booth was shot and killed by Union soldiers, or was he? Well, or was he killed by the Duke boys?
No, I don't think so. Don't even start that.
Okay,
rumor.
was he killed by Uncle Jesse?
No.
While
We're
hiding,
going to stop this assassination. Go, go.
or was he cooterized?
Yeah, cooterized.
While hiding in a farm in Virginia only days after the crime. 8 other conspirators or suspects were tried and convicted, and 4 were hanged shortly thereafter.
Yikes.
And there you go. That's the name of that tune.
So time-traveling murderers.
Time-traveling murderers.
Doom, doom, doom.
You heard it here first.
Doom, 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 doom. Wouldn't it have just been easier to grab the president and vanish with him? That would have made a more impact.
Oh, yeah, it would.
Pop him in and then drop him off in 2012.
Yeah.
Right? And he's like, I'm Abraham Lincoln. And they're like, sure you are, Looney Tunes.
Yeah, you are. We've heard this one before.
All right. What's your next story for us?
Dave, this is disturbing.
Okay.
A disturbing alert for all you kids out there. Earmuffs, kids, because I'm about to tell you something very, very disturbing.
Well, now they're going to listen.
Oh, that's true.
I've learned this about children, Tim.
Reverse
I have
psychology.
many of them. Yeah, when you tell them don't listen, this is when they're going to turn up the radio, as it was said in the 80s.
Kids,
Uh-huh.
that Hubble telescope,
Yes.
it's good for, when you have a telescope at home, sometimes you just point it at the neighbor's house and you see some things that are
That's
tittillating.
what you shouldn't do, though, Tim.
That's what you shouldn't do. That's what I'm telling the kids.
Okay,
I'm telling the kids don't do that.
Okay.
Dave, you didn't let me finish my lesson.
Just making sure.
Sometimes you point it at things and you see something massive coming out of Uranus.
Pardon me?
Dave, I'm just saying, you take the Hubble telescope sometimes and you point it and you see something massive coming out of Uranus.
Isn't that kind of a waste of, a lot of money with a Hubble telescope to point it at Uranus?
Well, it's a planet, Dave.
Oh, so they were pointing at Uranus.
Right,
And
yeah.
they saw something large
Yeah.
coming from Uranus?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Dave.
Uh-huh. What
Yeah.
what large thing was found coming out of Uranus, Tim?
Well, sometimes, Dave, it's a cucumber. No,
No,
time
what?
it's... Oh, you're talking about the Hubble telescope
right,
now.
and the planet, Tim. Get back to it.
The Hubble Space Telescope has spotted a huge shimmering region on Uranus. I've always wanted to read that on the air.
I know.
And it's caused by powerful bursts of solar wind. I bet it is.
Solar wind, take me away. Wasn't that a song in the 70s?
Yes,
by,
it was. Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, and
George?
Hubble.
Oh,
Yeah. No giggling at the back, please, while I read this following story, including the
in the front.
one person on Twitter this week who said, "Oh, Tim, can't you read these stories with a journalistic integrity in which they're supposed to be read?"
No,
No.
not at all.
Of course I can't.
Not when the headline reads.
Something wicked this way comes out of Uranus.
What is the actual title?
The actual title says Hubble just spotted something massive coming out of Uranus.
Yeah, you can't really read that with journalistic integrity. They
can't.
were setting you up for failure from the beginning.
They were.
Okay.
Scientists from the Paris Observatory used the NASA/ESA Hubble Space Telescope to take a look at the...
Pierre, come here. Look at Uranus. Something huge is coming from it. That's my French accent.
I see.
Do you like that?
It's very good. Yeah.
That's why we'll never be doing a darkness event in France.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I say, oui. I believe they say.
Hello, everyone. Take a look at Uranus.
Oui. That's on the other side.
What? All right.
They took that huge NASA ESA Hubble Space Telescope to take a look at the auroras on Uranus, which are caused by streams of charged particles like electrons that come from various origins, such as solar winds, the planetary ionosphere, and moon volcanism or volcanism. I like volcanism because you split your fingers like this, and you say live long and prosper. Yeah, it's part of that whole deal. The particles become caught in powerful magnetic fields and are channeled into the upper atmosphere, where their interactions with gas particles such as oxygen or nitrogen set off spectacular bursts of light, Dave.
And we've got actual audio from that happening.
Yeah, here it is. Wow. Wow. That is gassy.
Gentlemanly like it.
It is. Notice how the bursts are very short than long than short.
Oh, are they sending us an SOS from Uranus, Tim?
It is. It's almost like a cry for help, Dave. Like a cry for help.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
The auroras on Jupiter and Saturn have been well studied because you can't help it when there are gas bursts in your face to not help but study them. But the auroras on the giant
Now
ice
you know how
planet,
the rings get around those planets. Uranus keeps exploding.
Yeah, well, it's a problem.
Saturn's up there. Come on, Uranus!
Enough already.
What the hell?
Here,
Somebody pass me a cosmic wipe.
here's the Pepto. The auroras on Jupiter and Saturn have been well studied, but the auroras on the giant ice planet Uranus, it's icy up there, Dave, remain something of a mystery. The first images of Uranus taken from Earth were shot in 2011. It's a big Uranus, by the NASA Hubble. In 2012 and 2014, a team led by an astronomer from the Paris Observatory took a second look at the auroras using the ultraviolet capabilities of the Space Telescope Imaging Spectrograph.
Voyeuristic much?
Not very.
I just can't get enough of Uranus, Tim.
No, you have to look and look and look. Maybe there's something on Uranus that is intriguing or could be disturbing.
Well, it's icy, Tim.
Yeah.
Icy and explosive.
Right. Yeah. They tracked the interplanetary shocks caused by two powerful bursts of solar wind traveling from the sun to Uranus. Then used Hubble to capture their effect on Uranus's auroras. There's auroras on Uranus, Dave. And found themselves observing the most intense auroras ever seen on the planet.
Oh, I've had those moments.
Yeah. By watching the auroras over time, they collected the first direct evidence that these powerful shimmering regions rotate with the planet.
Okay.
They also rediscovered Uranus's long-lost magnetic poles, Dave.
Did they?
Which were lost shortly after their discovery by Voyager 2 in 1986 due to uncertainties in measurements and the featureless planet surface.
Okay.
Wait, there's more here, but I'm going to skip over that part.
Yeah, that's good news enough, I think, right?
That's...
All right, so that's what's going on.
There's a short mini feature here that asks me the question, Dave. Has Uranus been probed?
Not recently. What other stories do you have for us,
Well,
Tim?
let me
in the
move
world
on.
of strange and supernatural before we have to go to break.
Here, a nearly naked California woman claims she's a mermaid.
What?
Yeah.
More mermaid stories?
Well, and she's a nearly naked California woman. A woman was found nearly naked wandering down a street in Fresno, California, Dave, on Tuesday. And investigators there say they need help identifying her.
Okay.
Evidently, you can't be blind and know Braille in order to identify her.
Does her name sound like this?
As a matter of fact, she does. And just now, you just made half the mermaids out there go deaf.
Or arouse them.
One or the other.
I don't like to brag, but I've been known to speak mermaid pretty good, Tim.
All right. Fresno police said the woman was found around 3 a.m. near the Eagle Spring Golf and Country Club with wet hair. She identified herself as Joanna. Joanna.
That's not really much of a mermaid name.
I know, it's more of a Kool and the Gang song.
Yeah.
And told officers that she was a mermaid, according to Fox 5 San Diego. Who knows they're mermaids? The woman, who has 2 webbed toes on both feet.
Oh, that's enough for me.
Which will qualify her as a mermaid.
Why not?
Told officers she has been in the water, but couldn't answer many more questions. Like which undersea kingdom she came from.
Neptune?
It might be. Officials said she is 5'4", weighs about 150 pounds, and has brown eyes and hair, and don't swim all that well.
Sure.
Police asked
good
that...
Good eating down there, huh?
It is good eating. Police asked that anyone with information call this number. Get your pen and paper ready.
Okay.
559-621-2455. Or if you're...
Police, how can I help you? Yeah, Dave Schrader from Beyond the Darkness. I think you have my mermaid. Like to pick her up. Could you just have her sent to Tim Dennis's house at 317? What?
First of all, if I were going to order from Legal Seafoods, it wouldn't be a mermaid.
No, we're calling the cops. They said if you have information, let's claim her. We could have our own mermaid. I got a bathtub.
First of all, I would get like a 3-pound lobster before I get a mermaid.
Wow, not me. Who wouldn't want to have a mermaid around?
Also, it's easier. We don't need to ship her to my house. We can email Detective Paul Hill at paul.hill@fresno.gov. Much easier.
If we're...
than having her shipped.
Really?
Because I'm going to have to pay postage on that deal.
Well, she might be worth it.
And I don't have that kind of money.
That's her siren song, Tim.
I see.
Do you have one more short story for us?
Let's see. Do I have a short story here? That's a long.
Well, that's what I asked you.
Well, that's I bet I do.
I just sent you one recently. Did you see that story?
I did see that one. Let's see here. Yes. A British TV show evidently has filmed a ghost day. First time ever for a British TV show.
What? It's about time.
And a British ghost hunting TV show to film a ghost.
Okay.
First time ever. The stars of a long-running British ghost hunting television program believe Finally, they've succeeded in capturing an apparition on film.
Okay.
Took you long enough.
Really?
The show Most Haunted is investigating a location known as the Wentworth Woodhouse.
Okay.
Woodhouse is the butler on Archer, by the way.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Specifically, a stable block at the site, reportedly home to the ghost of a large man. During the filming of the episode, two of the ghost hunters suddenly stop after they hear unexplained footsteps at the end of the hall. The pair attempts to communicate with any spirit that might be in the area, but their call quickly stops when they spot what appears to be the figure of a person walking away from them. Although they are stunned by what they just saw, the duo briefly takes off after the potential ghost, yet they find nothing at the end of the hall. One of the series' other stars, Yvette Fielding, marveled that this has to be the most groundbreaking footage we have ever recorded.
Nice.
However, in keeping with the elusive nature of the ghost phenomenon, Fielding noted that the encounter left them with more questions than answers, despite seemingly capturing a spirit on film for the first time. Of course, as with all paranormal television programs, get ready for this.
What?
Viewers would be wise to exercise caution before jumping to conclusions.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yep. There's more spooky footage.
Pardon me?
At our friends at the Coast to Coast AM website at coasttocoastam.com.
Have you taken a look at it yet?
I have not. No,
all right.
I have not.
Interesting.
I don't want my streak of watching paranormal TV without catching a ghost to be ruined, Dave.
All right.
Yeah.
Why do that, huh?
Yeah, why ruin a good thing, Dave?
That's true. And we'll be back with more Beyond the Darkness Supernatural News right after this.
Beyond the Darkness.
Welcome back. This is Beyond the Darkness. Remember, one way to help the show is whenever you're going to purchase something through Amazon, no matter what it is, go to our page and visit darknessradio.com. Click on the Killer Deals link, and you'll see 3 banners there for the UK, Canada, and the United States for Amazon.com. By utilizing those banners whenever you make a purchase, a small portion of your sale will go to help support this show and pay some of the fees that keeps the show going. So please chime in, help us out if you can, whatever purchase you're going to make, and then link yourself to that, bookmark that link so that you can use it every time you make a purchase on Amazon.com. And there are so many of you doing that on a regular basis. We personally want to thank you. And just because you're paying for it, whether you bought it on Amazon.com or directly through our link, if it's $20, it's $20. Nobody's affected. We just get a little kickback for having you use our link. So please do that for us, no matter what you purchase through Amazon.com. All right, we've got more supernatural news. Tim, where are we going next?
Oh, this next one's a gem, Dave.
Oh, really? Do tell.
Oh, it's a gem.
Okay.
She's a special kind of lady.
Who?
A 64-year-old Australian woman describes herself as half alien, claims she visits extraterrestrials called Greys on a spaceship, quote, like a Greek island every month, Dave.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wonder if she's related to the mermaid that we have on order.
Probably.
Okay.
An Australian woman claims she visits extraterrestrials on a ship that's like a Greek island every month. I wonder if she runs into John Stamos and they eat Greek yogurt together and they...
That would be the only way to do it.
Wax nostalgic.
What?
Or wax something.
What?
Together.
Okay.
And she's upgraded her DNA to become half alien.
Okay.
Because you can do that, you know.
Really?
You just
do you order that through what? Mako?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you upgrade your DNA?
Well, did you see Ghost in the show?
I did not. I have no interest in that shenanigan.
I went and saw it.
Oh, sorry
it was free.
Oh, okay. Good. And did you feel that you overpaid?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I like looking at Scarlett Johansson. I'm not going to lie.
I think it was just more of a mechanical version of Black Widow from the commercials I saw.
Well,
yeah.
All
right. So upgrading her DNA
upgrading
to half alien.
Half alien, yeah. 64-year-old Judy Carroll from Brisbane doesn't always recall her interactions with the aliens, and why would she? I think they were tipping a few. And Tyler, too. Get it? It's an old joke. Called...
Tip a canoe.
Yeah. Recalled... Yeah. They're called grays, Dave. Call the aliens what they are. They're grays. But they have become
Racist.
normal. Yeah, I know. I'm totally racist against aliens.
Yeah.
But they have become normal for her, she told the magazine New Idea. Mrs. Carroll says she has been communicating with the Greys, who she describes as having thin bodies because she's a fat shamer.
Oh, well, maybe that's why you want to get part of their DNA. It helps you slim down.
Yep.
You and I should think about that. Get rid of our Sasquatch half DNA and trade it in for gray DNA.
She's also a baldy chaser. They have no hair, according to her, and teardrop-shaped eyes. She's been.
Doesn't that mean you killed somebody in prison if you got those teardrops?
Yes,
by your eyes?
it does. Yeah, yeah. Or you killed the cop. One or the other, I think, is what it means.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's the same thing. You killed somebody. That's my point.
Yeah. She's been communicating with them since she was a child, evidently. But her first encounter came when she was 30.
Okay.
She said she had been lying down when suddenly her body was paralyzed, and 3 extraterrestrials were standing over her. They were like, "Ooh, take a look at that. Ooh, it's flabby." And then they decided they were going to upgrade her. I made that part up.
Yeah.
They told her she needed to learn to mediate to keep in touch with them. That's what they told her. But now she regularly visits them on an alien ship she describes as like a Greek island. Pure white, Dave.
Nice.
No racism there whatsoever.
None whatsoever. Is it the Amazon Princess Diana up there?
Yeah,
I don't mean, the English Rose. I'm talking Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman!
Coming to theaters near you.
Yeah.
With beautiful archways and no sharp corners. Why?
Nice, because you might be drunk.
Well, they got baby grays running around.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. No electrical outlets to plug your finger into
He's
either.
got to clean up all that DNA.
Oh, of course. I don't always remember as I'm taken during sleep, she said, but I do have many conscious memories, too. For years, she didn't tell anyone, but when she told her husband, Charlie, she says he saw an alien over her as she meditated. Both he and her brother are understanding, she says, and they should be, because what else are you going to do with a wacky 64-year-old woman?
Hey, now, you can't do that. We talk to these kind of guests all the time. You can't just dismiss her summarily.
I'm not summarily dismissing her. I'm exponentially and with prejudice.
You hateful bastard.
Yeah. Mrs. Carroll, who has written books about her alien experiences, says
Apparently never going to appear on our show.
Says her memories include working on humans while on their ship, because not only has she upgraded to half alien, now she's doing like a Mary Kay multi-level marketing deal.
Is that the deal?
Yeah.
Listen, if you sign up with me right now under my pyramid, you can be half alien, and it's going to be remarkable. It's a great weight loss program.
And get your relatives involved, and they can be half alien, and then they get people involved, and you get
this
all
does sound
the
like
profit.
Scientology multi-level marketing to me.
Yeah, it is. There she says she and her teacher, Maris, have developed a close relationship, which she describes as soul to soul. They were a hip-hop group, Dave, back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Maris and who?
Maris and Mrs. Carroll.
They were soul to soul?
They were soul to soul, yeah. They sang the song Keep On Moving. Yeah, keep on moving, don't stop. No. And he has healed her ailments in the past.
Nice.
Yeah. I remember him massaging my neck, she said, and putting his long fingers in my mouth.
What?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Putting his long fingers in my mouth.
And down my throat, she said, where I said I was tight.
No, that's not what this article says.
It does. I'm quoting it.
Oh, my God.
Evidently, the only place she was tight.
What?
That I added.
Oh, my God. Miss Maris, you can send your hate mail directly to tim@darknessradio.com.
Mrs. Carroll said she wasn't surprised that she had problems as she's half gray and the aliens do not have moving jaws.
Really?
Well, it makes it convenient.
For what?
A lot of things. She believes she had made the choice to be half alien before she was born and upgraded her human DNA with the Greys.
Nice.
The species aim to heal humans and help them evolve, she says.
Okay.
But she adds that they can't force themselves on humankind. They have to be ready.
Sure.
For those long fingers down their throat.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, baby.
No.
Huh?
No. What?
I don't know.
No.
Huh?
Okay.
So that's the name of that tune.
Hey, you had a couple. Let's talk. Let's bring it back to reality.
Okay.
You got a couple X-Files stories I'm really psyched about.
I do.
Can you mention those? Is that all right?
Sure.
And one ties in with one of our sponsors, so I want to make sure we mention that up front.
Well, Fox has ordered, not Fox Mulder, but Fox, the TV company, Fox, 20th Century Fox, has ordered 10 more episodes of The X-Files, kids.
Woo!
Yeah. Cue the music. David Duchovny, Gillian Anderson, and series mastermind Chris Carter are aboard on the new season, which starts shooting this summer and will air during the 2017-2018 season. The X-Files returns to Fox for 10 whole episodes, the second installment of the event series. Fox has ordered a second chapter of that series. The all-new 10-episode installment, once again, will be executive produced by creator Chris Carter. It stars David Duchovny, Gillian Anderson returning in their roles as FBI agents Fox Mulder and Dana Scully.
Awesome.
I know. Now, there's many questions I have. Didn't they pass the baton, Dave? Isn't this whole thing, the torch has been passed? We're going in a different direction? You sure?
They left us with a hell of a cliffhanger.
Well,
yeah. Maybe the baton will be passed this series, but they introduced a few new characters that they could eventually pass the baton on to. But I think we've already seen how that worked in the last season or 2 seasons of X-Files. It wasn't great. I think they should just stick with the originals and just keep giving us these 10 episode selections every other year. I'm totally down with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Production again, summer of 2017. Woo! Iconic characters, rich storytelling, bold creators. Yeah. These are the hallmarks of great TV shows, and they are some of the reasons why The X-Files has had such a profound impact on millions of fans worldwide, said David Madden, president of Fox Broadcasting Company. Chris's creativity, along with the brilliant work of David and Gillian, continue to propel this pop culture phenomena. And we can't wait to see what fresh mysteries Mulder and Scully uncover in this next chapter of The X-Files. In 2016, The X-Files drew an average multi-platform audience of nearly, brace yourself, 16 million viewers.
Nice.
And was last season's number 2 broadcast drama. It was also the season's most talked about event series on Twitter. The X-Files originally premiered in September of 1993. Over the course of its 9-season run, the influential series went from breakout sci-fi favorite to massive global hit and became one of the most successful television dramas of all time. The show, which earned 16 Emmy Awards, 5 Golden Globes, and a Peabody Award, follows FBI agents Scully and Mulder as they, go through puberty.
There?
Yeah, I'm
Peter Brady.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Drink when your voice cracks as they investigate unexplained cases.
Like they sure do, Scoob.
They sure do. X-Files, for which they the only answers involve paranormal phenomena. There you go.
Awesome.
Also, Audible.
Yes, which is one of our sponsors. This is exciting news, kids. So again, try audibletrial.com/darkness when you order any of the Audible books. And this series, you should go pre-order. Check this out.
Audible is releasing an X-Files audiobook starring Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny. It's called X-Files Cold Cases, and the first clip will creep you out. Yeah. Grab your headphones, the X-Files fans, because Audible Studios is releasing an audiobook starring the original cast. In addition to bringing back Gillian Anderson as Dana Scully and David Duchovny as Agent Fox Mulder, X-Files Cold Cases also brings back Mitch Pileggi as Walter Skinner and William B. Davis as the Smoking Man, plus Tom Braidwood, Dean Haglund, and Bruce Harwood as the Lone Gunman.
Yes.
You get them all.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true. Here's a brief description via Audible. It says Cold Cases marks yet another thrilling addition to the pantheon of X-Files stories, featuring a mind-blowing and otherworldly soundscape of liquefying aliens, hissing creatures, and humming spacecraft. Listeners get to experience the duo's investigations like never before. Liquefying aliens, you may say? Holy UFOs, that sounds amazing.
Yes. And for you, the listeners of Beyond the Darkness podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. And you've got to check it out. I've already signed up. These episodes are coming my way. And you've got the entire original cast together. This is going to be phenomenal. So again, if you're going to try it out, try out audibletrial.com/darkness. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or any MP3 player, and get that new X-Files Cold Cases. All right, Timothy.
Well, no. Wait a minute. You may ask yourself the question, where does this book pick up?
Where does this book pick up? I was curious about that.
In the whole storyline of X-Files, where does it pick up?
It
turns out the audio series picks up where the 2008 film, The X-Files I Want to Believe, left off, but takes place before the events of the 2016 miniseries.
Oh, so it's sandwiched.
It bridges the gap.
Awesome.
So there you go. Do you want to hear the official teaser?
Can we play that?
Yeah, I think we can.
Well, all right, do it.
I think we can. I think we can play it. Here you go.
Hi, I'm Gillian Anderson.
Hi, I'm David Duchovny.
And I'm recording X-Files
Cold Cases for Audible.
They're going to be hearing the voices of Mulder and Scully and Cigarette Smoking Man and myself.
It's always a thrill to come back.
It's comfortable falling back into the character.
I still feel connected to Langley.
For the hardcore fans, it'll be the exact same thing.
That don't give you chills, nothing will.
I'm excited.
There you go.
But I'm easily excited. I love the X-Files. God, I love the X-Files.
So you can look forward to that on Audible.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
What's next, sir?
What's next? Well, we go from X-Files and all the excitement behind the TV show and the Audible book to a girl who lives with monkeys.
Wait, what?
That's exciting for me, Dave.
Here we come.
Not those monkeys.
Walking down the street.
Not the monkeys that you're going to be talking to at Comic-Con.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about...
I don't like to brag, Tim, but on stage for the first time in a long time, Peter, Mickey, and Davey.
You're going to be...
It's Davey Schrader, though.
You're going to be
Davey
bragging.
Jones.
You're bragging.
I love him. I am bragging.
You're bragging.
All right. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm talking about the kind of monkeys I wish I was raised by.
Really?
I do.
I've met your parents. You're not too far off.
Well, I'm just saying, Dave. Secretly, I think we all know from longtime listeners of both Darkness Radio and Beyond the Darkness, I think people secretly know that... and they know I wish I owned a monkey.
Yes, you want your own little service monkey.
I do want my own little service monkey.
He would have to wear a blindfold, though, for the horrible things you want him to do.
Well, it's not so horrible that I want them to ride a bike while eating a peanut butter sandwich and call me master.
No.
I mean, that's not bad, is it?
No, not at all.
Mowgli Girl is her name. She walks on all fours and does not speak like a human, and she was found living with monkeys in India. I say it's a charmed life.
Wow.
A lot of people think it's cruel and unusual.
Me is one of them.
No.
Really?
This is a charmed life, folks. I just say I want to start all over.
Okay.
Send me back out into the wild. I want to be raised by monkeys.
Really?
Yep. An 8-year-old girl has been found living with monkeys and unable to walk or talk like a human in India. It has emerged. I would rather be walking around like a monkey. The child who reported...
It's like this, little britches. All you gotta do is look for the
bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Do you think that's the life she was leading?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, bare necessities are Mother Nature's recipes.
Okay, but that's a bear raising her.
Yeah, not a monkey.
No. Pretty cool, though. I'd take being raised by a bear.
Yeah, but they eventually maul you and eat you.
Well, maybe with that attitude.
Monkeys, just nothing but bananas and hanging out in trees all day.
Here we come.
No, not those monkeys.
So she really lived with the monkeys.
She did. The child who reportedly screeches to communicate, most of them do.
Yes,
yeah.
I've got 7 and my ears still ring.
I know. Half the time I have to yell to you in order to communicate to you. And walks on all fours, was found by police in a remote nature reserve in Bahrain, northern India. She has already been dubbed Mowgli Girl because of the story's similarities with the Jungle Book.
Are they going to call you that from now on? Hey there, little britches.
Mowgli Girl?
No, little britches.
All right, little britches? Uh-huh. My britches haven't been little since I was 5.
That's true.
Yeah. So the story's similarities with the Jungle Book.
Obvious.
Rudyard Kipling's tale about a boy the same name brought up by wolves, although she was brought up by monkeys, which is much cooler.
Yeah.
Authorities say she seemed comfortable among the apes at the wildlife sanctuary close to the border with Nepal. They're still trying to find out who she is, where she came from, and how long she's been in the wild.
Hey there, little britches.
And she was raised by Dean Martin, evidently, in the wild.
She got the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
She was spotted by woodcutters before Sub-Inspector Suresh Yadav located the emaciated girl while he was on a routine patrol, according to the Times of India. She was taken to the hospital after the discovery 2 months ago and has been looked after there ever since. Meanwhile, she's been trained for the circus, which will be fun.
That's not true.
No, she hasn't. She behaved like an animal, running on her arms and legs and eating food off the floor with her mouth. What's wrong with that, I ask?
It's an everyday occurrence in Tim's world.
I know. That's how I eat.
Yeah.
Said DK thing.
King of the swingers, oh, the
Yeah, it's Louis Prima, isn't it?
I've
Yeah.
reached the
I like
top
Louis
and had
Prima.
to stop, and that's what's bothering me. I want to be a man cub.
Yeah.
Stroll right into town.
Me too.
And be just like the other men. I'm tired of walking around.
Not me. Not me.
I want to be like you.
After treatment, she has begun walking normally. See, they ruined her. They treated her, Dave. She began walking normally and eating with her hands. She is still not able to speak. Why would she want to? But understands whatever you tell her and even smiles now, just like the orangutan from Every Which Way But Loose.
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? Clyde.
Clyde, yeah. Police
Hey there,
officer
Clyde.
Right turn, Clyde. Police officer Dinesh Tripathi said that when the girl was found, she was naked and was very comfortable in the company of monkeys. Much
Good
like
for her.
That's every family reunion for me, though.
It is.
Dave.
I've been there.
When the woodcutters,
That's
when the woodcutters, don't make fun of my grandfather. When the woodcutters tried to rescue the girl, they were chased away by the monkeys. The officer said she was rescued later by a police officer in the Katarnia Gat Forest Range. They were gatting him up. When he called the girl, the monkeys attacked him, but he was able to rescue the girl. He sped away with her in this police car while the monkeys gave chase. That boy, monkeys!
Here they come.
No, not those.
Looking for the girl. No?
Inspector Ram Avtar Singh.
No, he's good.
From Modapur Station in Bahrain. Said, boy, that's a long sentence. And also said she was terrified of us. She could not speak or hear us properly.
Oh, give me a break.
I know. She was surrounded by 3 monkeys. She had wounds on her body, specifically on her elbow, probably from landing out of the tree.
Oof.
And one on her leg.
Ooby-doo. I want to be just like you.
She was wearing clothes, but not very dirty. So evidently they have a laundry out there in the forest.
Well,
no, it's probably a coin-operated laundry.
Business, family business.
It looks like she was abandoned by her family.
No kidding.
She looked weak and was very hungry. We gave her some food to eat. She looked miserable. Probably because she's back in civilization.
Yeah. Tarzania.
If we hadn't rescued her, she could have been eaten by other animals. They said, "Oh, how nice of you to save her."
Oh, it is.
The monkeys.
They did.
The monkeys had her back.
Tim, that doesn't always work well. Just saying.
She's said to be frightened of humans still. Well, yeah, you kidnapped her out of the monkey village.
Good
I'd
God.
be frightened too.
If I could afford it, I would send you there and just leave you now.
I appreciate that.
And I'm saying that out of love.
I would teach them how to make podcasts. We would have the monkey hour.
Hi, this is Tim Dennis. Welcome to Planet of the Apes Hour.
Planet of the Apes Hour. So, Mofar, we were speaking before, right? I mean, it'd be a long podcast. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a lot of that.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know.
I need a nap. I think I just hurt myself.
I don't know if Podcast One would pick that up. Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll have to talk to Rich about
You heard
that.
the professional wrestlers have podcasts.
Yeah, well, you see how successful that is.
Oh, they are. Huge jerks.
Although she's been taught to walk upright, she still walks on all fours, medics say. Although, according to Scroll-In, Chief Medical Officer DK Singh...
What if she's not human? What if she's just a really attractive monkey?
Oh, that could be.
Yeah. Did they ever consider that?
Maybe the monkey shaved her down as part of a frat prank.
Maybe she's got alopecia majora as a monkey.
That could be.
Well, she's back in good hands, Tim.
Yeah.
Not the monkey's hands. I'll try to see if maybe we can do like a foreign exchange student. I'll get Mowgli Jr. and I'll send them you.
Oh,
yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah. All right. You got one more quick story for us?
One more quick story. Let me look here.
Yeah.
Let me look. This one looks very lengthy, so that'd be a no.
Well, you can read it, but just kind of encapsulate it as you go along.
All right, let's do this one on aliens, since they're the closest thing to monkeys we have. They can't fight back. They're imaginary.
No, they're not. They're grays.
What?
And they're half-human DNA. You can order right now. Just go to halfhumanaliendna.com/darkness.
Oh, okay.
To get your upgrade now.
Get your upgrade. It's part of my MLM program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Use code TIMMLM50 to get $50 off of your DNA upgrade.
There you go. Is it really happening? Strangers are giving eerily similar counts of alien abductions. So you too can get your alien upgrade. Several people answered a call for information about being abducted by aliens, and their accounts were eerily similar, Dave. They must have gotten together on the phone and just correlated. Yeah.
Okay.
Many responded to a call for true stories about alien abductions on social media site Reddit. Reddit, I damn near absorbed it. Many of those who responded reported to being abducted in their own bedrooms and time skipping forward or memory loss. There were also many who said they were able to communicate with aliens telepathically. One man said as a 9-year-old, he suddenly became paralyzed in his bed. He said, all of a sudden, this blue light shined through my bedroom window. I see my covers fall off to the floor as I get lifted through the window. There was Barry White playing, and no, I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah,
I made that part up. He said, I remember bits and pieces of being on a table in a room as other children are being examined too. The Reddit user says he saw an alien who looked like a praying mantis insect.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
This is a recognized alleged type of alien species by conspiracy theorists. The man even claimed he may have been healed during his cosmic kidnap.
Nice.
As he had trouble walking before the incident, but since then has had no problems. He also said he was left with 3 mysterious needle marks on his leg. Another man said his father-in-law was on a camping trip in the northern Appalachians, northeast U.S., when he and the group suddenly blacked out. He wrote they woke up about 10 yards away from their original site, the exact formation in which they had set up camp, but all of the little stuff was in the same spot. So the alien's very tidy, Dave, very tidy.
Very cool.
He still refuses to go hiking on that trail. One man spoke of mind-to-mind communication. He said nothing invasive was ever done and that the extraterrestrials seemed genuinely curious about humans. More often, it's just an interview via telepathy about how I am feeling and how things are going. So they're just curious little buggers. Yeah, they're nice. They're nice little buggers. He said one even seemed fascinated with one of my dogs. But I sort of thought how angry and hurt I would be if anything happened to my dog, and he backed away.
Aw. See, they're caring of our friendly, furry friends.
They really are.
Yeah.
So it seems here, Dave, in closing, it's also said that it is suspected that with so many happenings in the people's bedrooms, feelings of paralysis and missing time or memory loss, that they are just bizarre dreams. At least that's what people are surmising. It's also said that with the rise of the internet, that the accounts are often so similar because people take details from the stories of others to embellish their own. But people are saying no, that these are genuinely happening to them and that they're widespread worldwide.
Well, we've been hearing that for years, so there must be something to it. Something to it, Tim.
Something to it.
Speaking of something to it, let's get to the listener mail, and we'll start doing some parish share, shall we?
All right.
Let's open up the mailbox, Tim. First story. First email, Tim. This is kind of a follow-up to our show, the near death in the ICU.
Okay.
Hey, Dave, I wanted to reach out and share a cool story that happened on Friday after listening to Near Death in the ICU with Dr. Lauren Belge. I was looking forward to the podcast on Friday because I recently lost my father a few weeks ago, and he had passed away in the ICU at Huntsville Hospital in Alabama. I spent many days there and was interested in all the stories Dr. Belge had to share. I especially liked the story about a patient that was in a coma but still managed to make a phone call beyond the grave to the nurses' station. Anyway, I listened to the podcast at my desk because the workday can get pretty boring. About to eat my lunch and pausing the episode, I heard my phone ring, and the caller ID said Huntsville Hospital. My heart was pounding. I couldn't gather why the hospital would be calling me or how they had my number. When my father was hospitalized, I left my number there for emergency purposes only. My father passed only a month ago. I had nothing to do with any of my dad's final expenses, etc., so there was no reason for the hospital to be calling me. I answered the phone and heard a man's deep voice. Turns out It was a charge nurse that was handling the comment cards that I had submitted a couple of months ago when I had a rude encounter with a nurse. It was not a call beyond the grave, but the timing was precisely a coincidence. I believe that it was my dad's way of sending me a sign that he was still around. To listen to the podcast about ICU near-death experiences and then receive a phone call from the hospital where my dad passed is too close to assume it's a coincidence. I just wanted to share with you. Hope all is well. I'm sorry for the loss of your mother. I'm really enjoying the podcasts and guests recently that have helped me through my loss, as well as understanding the afterlife. Thanks for all you both do. And that comes from Terrelyn in Nashville, Tennessee. Well, we are sorry for your loss as well, Terrelyn. I know personally how brutal that can be, losing a parent, and our hearts and thoughts are with you. But thank you for sharing that story. Here's our next story, Tim.
All right.
Yep. Hello, Dave and Tim. Love the show. Been listening for a while now. Found you while listening to Coast to Coast. I live in a small town in North Carolina and have been living in the home I'm in for about 11 years. My wife and I would see shadows darting about the house. Nothing horrifying, but it was happening quite a bit. Ignoring it seemed to not affect it at all. As a matter of fact, it made things worse. My daughter at the time, who was 5, all of a sudden started refusing to sleep in her room. When asked why, she stated the hands were coming out of the closet and trying to get her. We thought it was just the imagination of a child and tried to talk her into going back in there.
Well, why not? Problem solved. Just go back in there.
Wait, now let me get this straight, honey. What did you see?
There were hands reaching out of my closet, trying to drag me in.
Oh.
Yeah, well, you should go back in there.
Yeah. Just go.
And the Parents of the Year award go to not these people. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but it's funny, right? Because maybe you and I are just too jaded. We've been doing this show too long. But if one of my kids comes into me and doesn't want to sleep in there because the hands in the closet are reaching out, I mean, I'll send Tim in to check it out, but I'm not sending my kid back in there. Not that Tim and I are sleeping together. We're just good friends.
I probably would get a phone call in the middle of the night. Yeah. From the other room. Saying, Tim, get out of the servants' quarters and go check the kid's closet.
No, I don't call you Tim. You know, when you're in servant position, I call you Dennis.
Right.
Dennis, up to the boys' room and check the closet. There appears to be spiritual hands grappling about.
Tip-top, pippity-hop. Right away.
Oh, man. That would freak me out. See, that would be like, it's like, I just picture that image from Scooby-Doo. Remember he's standing there and he moves and all of a sudden that hand reaches out of the door and just misses him?
Yeah.
That's the kind of image I picture. But yeah, if one of my kids came in and they're like, Dad, something's reaching out from inside my closet trying to grab me. Will you go check it out? I'd say no. First of all, no, right? Because I love the paranormal, but if things are reaching out of closets trying to grab my kids, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it at all. I lock my door. I anoint us with anointing oil because that's what I do. And then we would chug some holy water that I have.
Chug.
I'm not going to lie. There have been times when I've gone in while they're sleeping and I sprinkle them with holy water just to make sure we don't have a changeling in our midst, Tim, or an evil entity.
I see.
Yeah.
Chugging it like Pawpaw's moonshine.
Yeah. Pawpaw.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to the story, right? My daughter at the time was 5, suddenly would refuse to sleep in her room. When asked why, she stated the hands were coming out of the closet trying to get her.
Of course.
We thought it was just the imagination of a child and tried to talk her into going back in there. Weeks went by. She refused to sleep there, and it got where she would not go in there in the daytime. That's when all hell broke loose.
Yep.
Over a period of 6 months, we experienced so much activity that my wife was contemplating moving out. Lights flickered on and off at will. My guitar was on a stand in the closet, and something began strumming on it on its own. Oh, this is like a Theater of the Mind story, Tim. You should be mocking up Theater of the Mind sound effects while I'm rattling this one off. By the way, I will have you know, many people are much more appreciative of your Theater of the Mind after they heard my
yours?
my attempt to join in a couple weeks ago. I realize there's a lot more skill involved.
I was much more impressed with yours. I figured we could make that a weekly segment.
We should maybe look into it.
Dave's Theater of the Mind.
Dave's Theater of the Mind. Although everybody's laughing at the fact that I sound like Rolf the dog on all of my imitations. So I'm starting to get a little hypersensitive about that, Tim.
No.
I don't know why everybody thinks I sound like Rolf the dog. It's kind of like, who is it from the Electric Mayhem?
Yeah.
Is that Floyd?
Dr. Tooth?
Dr. Tooth.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Is it?
No. I hear Rolf the dog.
Ready to jam. All right. Over a period of about 6 months, we experienced so much activity that my wife was contemplating moving out. Lights flickered on and off at will. My guitar was on a stand in the closet, and something began strumming on its own. My mother and I watched a fold-out table come about a half-inch off the ground and fall back down. I had my name called out to me when I was the only one in the house. My mom was woken up to a large shadow of a man standing over her. Toys would make noises when no one was around. Even the cat would not go into my daughter's room. I got in contact with a local paranormal investigative group, and they came and did an investigation. Pictures, video, and a large amount of EVPs. Later, they brought a person in to cleanse the house and the land. The lady who cleansed the house was a medium. She told me that a guy named Frank Barbie had lived in this area and had been a really nasty guy. He had possibly killed 2 people and buried them somewhere in my neighborhood. Where are the dead people in my neighborhood? In my neighborhood. In my neighborhood. Hey, where are the dead people in my neighborhood? They're the people under our feet each day.
I got to imagine a killer with the last name of Barbie might have a little bit of angst.
Yeah?
Just a little.
You know, I just missed the opportunity. I just sang a Muppet song, and I didn't even use the Rolf voice.
Well, you probably should redo it then.
No, I'm not going to.
All right, then.
So Frank Barbie buried 2 people in the neighborhood. In the neighborhood. During the cleansing, I felt energy building up in the house. While she was invoking the name of God to remove the evil in the house, I felt like something or someone grabbed me on the back of the head. I told no one. Later that night, I had to call the medium because I noticed we did not get a few pictures from the investigation. She told me she knew what had happened to me and that was Frank trying to hold on to me so he could stay on the property. My jaw hit the floor as I stated, I told no one. Needless to say, the house is back to normal for the most part. Daughter is back in her room, and the most that happens is a shadow or 2 every now and again. Great show, guys. Keep up the good work. Also, shout out to Salisbury Paranormal for all the help they gave us. That comes from Daniel. Daniel, I didn't mean to pick on you too much, but I wonder what's the guilt like for Daniel after you're like, shut up and go back to your bedroom.
I don't wanna.
And then you realize there is something in your home. How horrible would you feel?
How much of a shout out are you giving Salisbury Paranormal if there's still shadows in your house?
No, but
That's
they
what
got
I'm
rid of the
saying.
nasty stuff.
Well,
I don't mind a couple fleeting shadows.
I do.
Yeah, which would be a great band name for us.
Fleeting Shadows?
Fleeting Shadows. Yeah, Fleeting Shadows of Success with Dave and Tim.
What if they sound like Fleetwood Mac?
Why would you even do that to me? Yeah. That's even more chilling than
Fleetwood
Hams.
Mac with Rolf the dog at
Hey, Rolf the dog here.
Lead vocals.
All right. Got a personal experience story, Tim.
All right.
You think that would ruin the effect of if I did all of Theater of the Mind in the voice of Rolf the dog now?
No.
And then I heard the giant thumping up the stairs. I think we're the only 2 that find this amusing.
I would enjoy that.
The ghost under the bed called out, "Hi-yo, how's everybody doing?" Gentlemen, I would like to share something that occurred to me back in January of 2013 that still has me scratching my head to this day. I've been an investigator actively since 2004 with various groups and have been to a lot of places in the past 13 years. Prior to January 2013, I had not had any incident occur that was so fantastic that I couldn't explain it away, at least one that I personally experienced. Now, a little backstory on me. I'm more of a skeptical investigator. I prefer to have objective proof before believing a claim or piece of evidence, and will take a piece of evidence apart to make sure there's no possible rational explanation for it. For the past 4 years, I've had at least one episode of sleep paralysis on a monthly basis, though sometimes more. I've had multiple tests done, worried that there might be something wrong chemically or mentally, but every test came back negative. One thing I've never experienced during any of my previous or my sleep paralysis episodes is the old hag syndrome, or just any general feeling of something in the room while having them, until that night in January, Tim. My group, West Houston Paranormal Society, WHIPS, went to the Palace Theater in Seguin, Texas, to do an overnight investigation. It's a play and cinema theater built in 1916 and had been owned by H.A. Daniels family since the 1930s. The theater plays host to the typical supposed experiences: scratches, shadow people, weird noises, etc. Another side note, the location is only 15 miles from a bridge off Interstate 10 called Woman Hollerin' Creek. Hey! Hey! Hey, what y'all doing? It's not real creepy.
No, more irritating than anything. Yeah.
Hey! Y'all tell Mama come pick me up! The state of Texas named the bridge for the legend of La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman. Story goes that there were so many reports of crying and moaning reported that they named the creek after her. Okay. So, finally, my experience. It happened during the last hour of our investigation. I was in the main part of the theater with a fellow investigator. We had the laser grid lights set up in the back, reaching toward the stage, and we had taken a seat in the back left side, facing the stage. We were sitting about 5 seats apart in the same row and watching the dots for any distortion. I was slumped down a little in my chair with my arms crossed, feet apart about shoulder width, and did something I'd done on many investigations before. I fell asleep.
Oh, I thought you were going to say farted.
No, no. Wow.
We've all been there.
No, I haven't. I try to keep that bottled in.
All right.
Once you uncork the genie, Tim, there's no putting him back in.
Especially in close quarters.
Immediately, I went into sleep paralysis episode. I knew that my eyes were closed, but I could still see the entire theater exactly as it was when I was awake. This is like my true theater of the mind from a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right. See, I'm glad other people have had this because that still weirds me out.
Yeah.
All right. Although with a sort of hazy look to everything, like I was looking through a filter, I was not able to move my body, but I could turn my head, in my dream, of course, and I looked to my right to see the other investigator still in their chair. Then I looked back to the front, and that was when I noticed my view was obstructed by darkness. I looked up and saw standing between my feet a shadow person. I could see the head and the shoulders. It was almost 6 feet tall. Suddenly, I got this feeling that it knew that I was aware of its presence and was looking at it. As soon as I got that feeling, this thing, in a super fast motion, bent forward and put its face nose to black nose with me. Then suddenly, it entered me. Through my head, like black smoke entering my body. My arms suddenly started feeling like electricity was going through them. Think of how a body part feels when it falls asleep, but 10 times more intense. And it was only my arms. It was one of the weirdest sensations I've ever felt. I turned my head towards the other investigator and started trying to yell for her, knowing that if I could yell, it would wake me up and break the sleep paralysis spell. I was not able to yell no matter how hard I tried. For what seemed like forever, but was probably a few seconds, I struggled to get this thing out of my body. Finally, it was flung from my body, and at the exact same time, a thud came from the lobby behind us and was loud enough to wake me from my spell. After that happened, I went outside and paced back and forth, recounting everything that had just happened to try and explain it away or rationalize it. To this day, I still get sleep paralysis, but have never experienced anything like that. Even just typing it now gives me goosebumps. Thank you for your time. Your show has gotten way better now that you're at the new station. If you get a chance, please check out my group's page. I'm one of the moderators, and I'm very proud of the fact that we have a debunked section where we present evidence we captured that we initially believed to be paranormal, but turned out to have rational explanations. We present them as a learning tool for all those that visit the site. And that comes from Christopher Chris Davila. And I'll give that site. It's WHPS-ghosts.com. So for those of you out there in the field that want to learn more, go check it out for yourself. How about that?
Very cool.
All right, I do have an update. We've done a lot of shows on near-death experiences and shared death experiences and dream visitations.
Right.
And I've talked about the fact that my mother has yet to make her presence known. Now, she's visited both my aunt and my daughter, Pacey, paranormal Pacey, and done it in dream form. And my aunt admitted to me that she had a reading.
Oh, okay.
And I guess she was a little reticent to tell me, not sure how I would deal with that yet.
Okay.
I don't want to have a reading.
Yeah.
And it's not that I don't want to hear from my mom. Of course, I'd love to hear from my mom, but it's hard because of who we are and how long we've been doing the show for me to trust any medium, because they might know many of the stories we've already shared or insights or enough to fake their way through.
Right.
And some of our great friends, Michael and Marty Perry, Mark Anthony, Chris Fleming, Echo Bodine, they've all offered to do readings for me, but I feel like, my mom knew you all too well.
Right.
And you knew my mom too well for me to do that. And Mark Anthony, to his credit, and so have the others, they've said, you're probably right. And I don't know that I wouldn't be maybe giving you insights that I think she would say.
Right.
And I appreciate that. So, I feel kind of let down that I haven't had an experience with her. And I've heard from sometimes you're just not ready. I've been like, well, I'm ready. I've invited her into my dreams, but I don't want to call upon her. I don't want to, I don't want to bother mom if she's recouping and in a new realm. I just want her to be happy. And this kind of pisses me off. I had a dream with her the other day.
Oh, okay.
And, I remember being conscious of the fact that she was dead, and that we were about to have a conversation. As a matter of fact, we had, I remember a very brief section of this, very brief, because we shared a laugh about something about my dad. My dad just visited here. He's still alive.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
And he came to visit me, and we shared a funny story about preparations for his passing. And I remember talking to her about it, but I don't remember an answer. But I remember that there was conversation, but I have no memory of it whatsoever. It was very foggy. And this story reminded me of that we just read, because it was very hazy to me. Like when I saw my grandfather, it was so crystal clear, Tim.
Yeah.
Vibrant colors, sounds, smells, textures, everything. It's like a vivid, solid memory.
Yeah.
Not a dream memory.
Right.
And with my mom's, it was very gauzy, very hazy. And I don't know if that's just, I'm still buffering. And she was trying to make it, but I really feel I was so pissed when I woke up, because I was like, damn it. Why can't I remember that? Why was it so hazy and murky? And, but she's, I don't know, she's starting to get through, or my conscience is, trying to make it I don't know. I don't know how it all works. My aunt, firmly believes after her reading, and she didn't go to somebody she knew. She went to a totally independent person.
Okay.
What was kind of intriguing was she told my aunt that this woman passed of cancer, kind of suddenly, and she also went on to tell her that the woman visits me and my granddaughter, which a lot of people don't know. But I get a chance to go sit with her usually 3 or 4 times a month, and I'll go over there and spend time with her during the day, and we love to cuddle and play and be silly. And so not only did she say that, but she gave my granddaughter's name.
Really?
And my aunt hadn't given her any information. So that was kind of a neat moment.
Yeah.
An aha moment. But, again, I don't feel the presence, man. And it's driving me nuts. You'd think we were so connected in life that you would think even in death I would get, you even get yourself the willies once in a while, thinking about stuff. I don't get them.
I have kind of an answer to that.
Uh-huh.
And you may kind of roll your eyes a little bit, and you may say, you may give me the BS treatment to this too.
Okay.
A mutual friend of ours hooked me up with a psychic reading from somebody that we'd never had read us before, that had never really even heard of us before.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
What?
Impossible.
There are people that have not heard of us?
Yeah, I thought it was impossible.
Okay.
But this was probably, I want to say it was right around November of last year, November of last year. And I had not, since my grandmother had passed away a year ago in August, had not heard from her. And we were extremely close. And my thing is, as you know, I've had dream visitations before.
Right.
And I thought of all the people who would come forward to me, of all the people who would visit me, she would be one. And I was in the same boat. I was feeling a little frustrated.
Right.
And I said, Grandma's never come forward to me, and my aunt is one who thinks that, Grandma shows up in every butterfly or leaf and I said, my grandma's never come forward to me. Never.
Right.
And right away, in this reading with the psychic, my grandma came forward. And the way the psychic described it was, she described my grandma and her stature, and then said, she's showing me a table full of people, like a dinner table. I take it that these people around the table are your family, and you're having a great time, and you're laughing, and now that table is empty, and she wants to know where is your family? Why are they not? And she's showing me a calendar, and she's showing me Sundays, and she said, "Why are you not there on Sundays? Why is everybody not there anymore?" And she's telling me that both her and your grandfather are disappointed. And I said, well, how come she's never come to me to tell me this personally? Because I'm here, I'm open, I'm waiting to talk to her. And she said, she's been there all along. You're the one that's closed down. And I said, but I want to hear from her. I'm here, I'm open, I'm wanting to hear from her. And she says, you think you're there. You think you're open, but secretly you're not. Huh. There's a part of you that's very much telling yourself you're open and wanting to hear her. Mm-hmm. But there is very much a part of you that does not. That you're trying to move on and move forward?
Well, what my one part is that I would agree to on that is that I feel selfish. And I'm like, if you want to come visit me, great, Mom. I'm always here. Mm-hmm. I'm a phone call away, Mm-hmm. But I don't want to feel like I'm calling her back all the time. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like Mom did her part for 70 years here on Earth. And, almost 50 of them with me. Mm-hmm. And I kind of feel like a dick. Hey, Mom, you there? Mom, did you leave any money under the couch or something? I feel like I'm bothering her.
But in reality, you're not. So
maybe I am holding myself back in that sense, even though I'm open to it. I'm kind of shielding myself because I'm afraid I'm I don't want to say irritating. Mom loved me to death and visiting me, but I just feel like, because we left things on such great terms in our life, I just feel guilty pestering her now.
But as your aunt even pointed out to you, she's still looking in on you. She's still looking in on your granddaughter.
Yeah.
So if she's there, and as your aunt pointed out, as she's looking in on you, she's keeping tabs on you. It's obvious she's there.
Right.
So she's not gone to some other realm and she's on vacation and she doesn't want to be bothered. She still wants to know what's going on with you in your daily life.
Now, as far as signs go, mm-hmm. You're looking for signs. And I was thinking to myself one day, I wish I could give something to my granddaughter that would connect her to my mom.
Sure.
Because, my mom got to meet her. Mm-hmm. My lovely granddaughter just turned a year old, mm-hmm. and she was born in April. My mom passed away in November. And the baby was there when my mom passed. And my mom, up till her last day, was cuddling that baby. Mm-hmm. And loved that baby. And there was a great connection. And, but Mom's never in any damn pictures, right? Mm. She's always off in the distance or, she's the one taking the pictures.
Right.
And, I have sitting behind me my little shrine to Mom, not like creepy serial killer shrine, but I've got like I've got her, what do you call it? Urn, which is in the shape of a beautiful angel. Mm-hmm. And I've got a picture frame up with our family in it next to it. And I've got a picture I just got from a friend of ours who's a photographer, mm-hmm. Had given me a picture she had taken of my mom at one of the events. So I just framed that and had it set there. And mm-hmm. and I was thinking, damn, Mom, I just wish I had something to give her. And I went over to the Goodwill one day just kicking around, and I found this whole collection of precious moments. Mom used to love precious moments. Okay. And one stood out was this cute little girl holding a bunny rabbit. And mm-hmm. my granddaughter's birthday was the day after Easter. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, this will be neat. I'll get this. This is kind of a tie-in of Mom because she loved precious moments. This is my granddaughter's 1 year birthday, and it's right after Easter. It'll be kind of neat to do this. So I got her the little statue, and then I was sitting there one day, and I got I've got my mom's big Kindle, her little Kindle, her cell phone, and her glasses sitting on the shelf with mm-hmm. her urn and all of this. And I said, I reached back and I took her Kindle and I started flipping through it just to look at pictures. And one of the first pictures I pick up, I flip through it. There's this beautiful picture of my mom kissing the baby.
Okay.
And I was like, holy beep.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is awesome. So I downloaded it and I went over and I printed it as a 5x7. I found this great little frame for it and gave it to them. And they got all kinds of cool gifts for the baby for his birthday. But it really kind of took back my daughter-in-law and my son when they saw this picture. Like, this is the best gift we could have gotten. There's no pictures. They took pictures of my mom and my daughter, or my granddaughter, the last few weeks. And, mom didn't look like mom.
Right.
So it was powerful. Here's this nice, healthy picture of my mom leaning down and kissing the baby.
Aww.
And she's holding her. So it was really neat. So I got this picture. So that was, to me, kind of like that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then my dad, when he came up to visit for the holiday weekend, he flips me one of her old phones. He goes, here, you told me to keep an eye out for any of her phones or cameras, because she took a lot of pictures on all these trips, and I just wanted to have some of the pictures and memories. So I open up the phone and I flip to the photographs. The first photograph that pops up, and this is on Saturday before Easter, right? Okay. So it's Saturday, Sunday's Easter. I flip open the pictures, and the first thing it opens up to is April 2015 or 2016. And there's a picture of my mom, and she's got on these, and I posted it on her Facebook. She's got these bunny sunglasses on.
Oh yeah,
with the ears.
That, yeah.
And it was just funny because it was like, that was the first picture that came up to me. So it was like mom saying hi.
Yeah.
So I made it her profile picture, and it's still up. I took down just a nice, and I just thought, I'm going to leave this funny, goofy picture up of mom because that's how a lot of people will remember her.
That's a sweet picture too.
Yeah. So that came to me. So those were two kind of, again, being skeptical believer. Was this mom showing me? Was it just timing? And I opened up the phone and it just so happened to be we're in April, and I don't know if the phone syncs up and knows this is April, so it's showing me pictures from last year or what it was, but it was still kind of a neat little moment. So
let me ask you the question. What would stop you from believing that that's a sign?
My mom coming forward and saying, hey, that's a sign, dumbass. I'm a hard man to impress, Tim. I've had many years of doing this crap. So that's that story. So I'm open to it, but I am seeing that those little signs, and I'm giving it credence. I think there was something interesting behind both of those moments.
Yeah, very much so.
So
yeah.
Well, let me read one more. And you know what? Let me do this real quick. I just listened to your Tuesday podcast. This is from one of our listeners. I stopped dead when I heard about someone grabbing the girl's leg. That happened to me when I was 5 or 6. I was getting into bed. The right leg was in bed, leaving my left foot on the floor. Before I could push off to get all the way into bed, a hand grabbed me. I was able to get away, or I was able to get away from it and cover up with the magic blanket that boogeymen can't get through. And I eventually fell asleep. There was no room for an adult to be under the bed. At 5 or 6, the space was tight for even me, and I was tiny. I'm now 40 years old, and I still will not sleep with my leg hanging over the bed. Well, who the hell does? That's a sign of a crazy person.
I've had to this last week.
A freak show.
Yeah.
The house I lived in was in Treasure Island, Florida. I found out later it was one of the first homes built on the island. Native Americans also inhabited that area long ago. So much happened to me in that home. I just don't like talking about it since I got older. I know how crazy I sound. I mean, sure, something grabbed my leg. I don't know if anyone else that lived there have ever had issues. That place was just bad mojo. My parents fought nonstop. I don't know if what it was in that house caused it or their fighting manifested something. Luckily, we moved and it didn't follow. I don't know if it's because we had to cross a bridge and it couldn't cross the water, but once we were out, the activity was almost non-existent. Thank you for your time. I hope you don't think I'm crazy or was just dreaming. No, we don't. Yeah, how do I know? I mean, I believe you if you feel like something grabbed your leg.
Yeah.
We'll do more Parashare next week, Tim. We had a couple more news stories.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'll read them real quick.
No, go ahead.
Because we were off with the show last week for Easter. We did a rerun.
Yeah.
Classic episode throwback, which was kind of
Gary Patterson. Yeah.
And people really love that, man. I've been watching the responses on that, talking about the Paul McCartney death hoax from the 60s and the 27 Club, the mysterious 27 Club. All of these musicians, well-known musicians too, that have passed away at the age of 27. And it's astounding when you look at the numbers of musicians.
Well, I figured it was a good tying, the Beatles being, more famous than Jesus, and then Paul McCartney. Right. And, I figured I'd go sacrilegious the Monday after.
Way to change it up. Well, let's go into this story where a church is investigating the Virgin Mary crying tears of blood amid an ominous Easter warning. Catholic priests have launched an investigation after a statue of the Virgin Mary seemed to cry tears of blood. I'm going to turn this on real quick.
Okay.
I want to just see this image for myself. That is weird. Hundreds of worshipers have flocked to a remote town in Argentina after footage of the weeping statue went viral. Priests have called for calm, but Catholics around the world are labeling the mystery an act of God. Well, it really does appear to be kind of weeping blood. While some of the faithful believe the tears are an Easter miracle, others have raised concerns that it could be a warning of punishment. Church officials have launched an investigation to find out if it is a true miracle. Worshippers are making a pilgrimage to a family home in Argentina's Salta province where the statue is kept. The small icon of the Virgin of the Mystical Rose, one of the names used for the Virgin Mary, belongs to the Friars Mendoza family. A local radio in the city of San Jose de Matanzan was able to first publish details of the eerie event, which began over Lent. The owner of the statue said the Mary had visited him in a dream the day before the miracle began. Mr. Mendoza said it was the first time something like this has ever happened. I was very scared. I thought it was some kind of punishment. Hours later emerged on red liquid pouring down the statue's face. In the video, a person points to the icon's eye as it claims of tears are falling from it. And it leaves this blood red stain too. As news spread around South America, hundreds arrived in a small town to pay their respects. According to local reports, the family dining room became a makeshift shrine to the statue. However, the statue will be moved to a local Catholic church to allow more Christians to visit it. Priest Ricardo Cuargala explained, a lot of people come here to pray and light several candles devoted to the Virgin. If she cries again, we need to do something at a high level in the church. But priest Julio Raul Mendez has urged people not to jump to conclusions. He said a church-led investigation would look for a scientific explanation before considering anything supernatural. Mr. Mendez says the first thing the church does is to do a scientific analysis to see if there's a natural explanation. Only then the possibility of supernatural phenomena is considered. There have been numerous reports of religious statues weeping over many years, although only one has been certified by those in authority in the Catholic Church. In 1984, following 8 years of investigations, a wooden statue of Our Lady of Akita in Japan was found to have shed real blood, sweat, and tears. How about that?
Interesting.
Hey, Tim. Essex most haunted house. Could you last a night, my friend?
I believe so.
Daredevils in Essex seeking a paranormal thrill can test their courage by staying overnight in one of the most haunted places in the country. The house in St. Osyth, nicknamed The Cage, has been the subject of several television paranormal investigations and was put up for sale in March of 2015. Even the pictures taken by the real estate agent show some unexplained phenomena. The spooky cottage, which was the prison for notorious Essex witch Ursula Kemp, even has a coffin alley running alongside it with a plaque dedicated to its gruesome history. Ursula Kemp was hung in 1582 after being accused of causing the deaths of 2 children. The story goes that Ursula was a midwife, but cursed a child when the mother decided to choose her neighbor to deliver the baby instead. The infant later died, and she was accused of cursing the family. Witch hunters tracked her down after rumors grew that Ursula was able to cure and inflict illnesses. She was the last Essex witch and was hung alongside another woman accused of being a witch, Alice Newman. The tale of Ursula Kemp and her prison has been the subject of numerous ghost hunter TV programs and investigations in the search of the paranormal. The prison was used as a medieval prison until 1908, and the house was being marketed as a residence or a business that could accommodate ghost tours and overnight stays. Estate agent Lawrence Anthony said the Cage has been investigated many times by paranormal groups, and a high level of paranormal activity has been recorded there. The unusual property is a one-off in English history and comes set up to accommodate a paranormal business if the new owner requires. The property on Colchester Road can be seen on Right Move, and it's offered at just £235,000, Tim. Can you pull it together?
Maybe.
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I would consider that.
Yeah.
Once we're making big bank, Tim.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen.
No.
Priest carry out an exorcism on Old Coronation Street set after poltergeist fears. A priest has carried out an exorcism on the Old Coronation Street set after terrified rehearsing musicians claim they've been attacked by poltergeist, Tim. For years, ITV1 soap stars and even its creator, Tony Warren, have complained of spooky apparitions or visions on the old set at Granada Studios in Manchester. Earlier this month, preparations began for the 3-day Grandadandland Party, a festival to mark the demolition of the old Cobble Street set in historic Granada City Center studios. But a 1960s tribute act threatened to quit the show after being left repeatedly petrified by ghostly going-ons during their rehearsals. The band reported equipment exploding for no reason, strange banging noises despite being alone in rehearsals, and an electric feeling that made their hair tingle and stand like static. So festival organizers were forced to hire an unnamed Roman Catholic priest to perform an exorcism on Old Corey's soundstage to ask the ghouls to leave in peace. Grandadaland organizer Christopher Wadsworth confirmed, "We wanted to make sure that everyone was happy before the event, but the act threatened to pull out unless we did something. An exorcism was our last resort. Without acts, after all, we don't have a show." We know there have been numerous rumors over the years about paranormal happenings in the studios, and we know many put this down to the location. It's scary that the studios might actually be haunted. For decades, since Coronation Street began, backroom staff and cast members have reported ghostly goings-on at the famous Cobbles. There have been several sightings of a ghostly figure with long dark hair that wears a long coat. Some believe it is the spirit of Pat Phoenix, who played Elsie Tanner before she died in 1986 from lung cancer. Actress Sue Cleaver, who played Eileen Grimshaw, once said, "So many people have seen and felt the same things that there has to be something in it." While Corey's now deceased creator, Tony Warren, famously admitted, "I would smell this great gale of perfume, After Pat Phoenix died, one of my dogs, who would always go bananas when Pat came to my house, suddenly started to behave as if she was there again." In 2014, an ITV guide at the set reporting seeing a child and a woman dressed in Victorian clothes and another woman who appeared to float before disappearing into thin air. There were so many reports of a curse on set that after a run of bad luck, which included director Kay Patrick being run down after a car's accelerator jammed. There is substantial historical evidence that the studios were built on top of a graveyard. In 2005, the cast of the TV show Most Haunted visit Granada Studios to investigate the old Coronation Street set after a number of reports of paranormal activity. Parapsychologist Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, who probed for reports for the living TV show, concluded a ghost could have risen from the spirits under the set. The studio closed in June of 2013, and ITV Granada and ITV Studios moved to Media City, UK in Salford Keys and Trafford Keys. In 2013, the Granada Studios site was sold for $26 million, with all but Granada House being flattened and turned into offices and new housing. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of crazy, Warner Brothers is being sued for $900 million, Tim.
I saw that.
To prove ghosts are real. The Conjuring film franchise is full of frights and unlikely occurrences, but according to Warner Brothers Studios, it's based on true historical events. A new lawsuit against them says, prove it. Author Gerald Brittle wrote a book called The Demonologist in 1980, based on events described by Ed and Lorraine Warren, two self-proclaimed paranormal investigators. The Warrens promised every anecdote they shared with Brittle was true and sold him an exclusive agreement on the stories he used in the book. The Conjuring covers much of the same territory, which Brittle sees as violation of that agreement. Warner Brothers has countered by claiming what happened to the Warrens counts as historical and thus fair use. Brittle has essentially responded that if the story is real, then Warner Brothers has to show him some ghosts. The Hollywood Reporter shared details of the case as written by Brittle's attorney, Patrick C. Henry II, when Lorraine granted the defendants the right to use the Warren case files, which the defendants themselves repeatedly state their movies are based on. She could not have done so because she had years earlier contractually granted that exclusive right to use those same Warren case files and related materials to the plaintiff. Lorraine Warren had nothing to convey. He continues, it is very hard to believe that a large conglomerate such as Warner Brothers, with their army of lawyers who specialize in intellectual property right deals, would not have found the Demonologist book or the deals related to it, or Brittle for that matter. He says the only logical conclusion is that the studio knew about the Warrens' agreement with Brittle, but just assumed they would never get caught. They did, and now Brittle is suing them for $900 million, which is just slightly more than the $886 million the movie raked in. Jeez. In global box office, according to Business Insider. In response, Warner Brothers' fair use claim, Henry writes that it is a pack of lies, which Brittle conveniently says he didn't discover until after the sale of his book. Henry writes, this is a pattern of deceit that is part of a scheme that the Warrens have perpetuated for years. There are no historical facts of a witch ever existing at the Perrin family farmhouse, a witch hanging herself, possession, satanic worship, or child sacrifice. Well, take a look at the trailer and see how believable it feels, they say in the article. To complicate matters further, one of the real-life victims portrayed in The Conjuring has come to the defense of Lorraine Warren. Andrea Perrin, our good friend, was one of the 5 children who lived with their family in the supposedly haunted farmhouse. The film was based on from 1970 to 1980. Perrin wrote a message on Facebook about the case, according to 2Fab, saying she didn't like the aspersions Brittle was casting in his lawsuit. Mr. Brittle owns no rights to anything regarding the Perrin family, she wrote. Admittedly, I have not yet read The Demonologist, but I'm told elements of our case are included in the book. Now, 37 years later, he is suing Warner Brothers for $900 million? Okay, wow. I know none of the details of this case except what has been reported in the press from what I've read. It seems Mr. Brittle has made some rather disparaging comments about Ms. Warren, which is very unfortunate. She continued, no matter what the infraction, I would be incapable of saying anything against her, and I consider his words inhumane. I think this ghostly writer is grabbing at straws. Perhaps this is some sort of misguided retirement plan. Either way, I'm staying out of it. WB will crush him in court if it ever gets that far. How about that? $900 million. We are in the wrong business.
Yep.
Who can we sue?
That's a good question.
Doom, 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 doom.
The Terminator franchise?
HBO's hit series Westworld showed the dangers of using robots in theme parks, but a futuristic park like this where adults live out their own fantasies by using these robots would be quite controversial if it were to be built in real life, Tim. A new report reveals that Disney may be starting the process to implement real soft body robots that would interact with guests at its theme parks, but they won't have any Westworld type of applications. These bots are believed to be playing Disney characters, but it isn't known what characters will be implemented at this time. The Orlando Sentinel broke the news that Disney has filed for a patent where the company reveals they are designing a robot that will move and physically interact like an animated character. The prototype sketch that was included with the patent application reportedly showed a round body that was reminiscent of the Big Hero 6 character Baymax. The patent application also reveals that Disney scientists in Pittsburgh have worked on prototypes dubbed Softbody 300 and Softbody 1000. Here's what the theme park writer Jim Hill has to say about the news, adding what the biggest issue about these robots is. It's hard to know why Disney decided to file for a patent, but they have been looking at soft body robots since Big Hero. Disney is still terrified that even with this soft technology, a robot could accidentally harm a child. So they do a lot of testing, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you what, if they want to send me a Snow White soft body robot, I'll be happy to test it for them, Tim.
So you go in for that first tug, Dave, and it rips your head off!
Pittsburgh is also the home to Carnegie Mellon University, which developed a soft robot arm that eventually inspired Big Hero 6 creator Don Hall to create the Baymax character. Don Hall actually brought his research to Disney Imagineers when he was working on Big Hero 6, which is what led to the company's interest in the technology.
I don't want a hug from Big Max or whatever his name is.
Baymax.
Yeah, Big Max.
He's
I don't want to. No.
Oh, he's cute.
He's going to kill me.
Oh, Tim, he's cute.
He's going to kill me. He's going to
Tim, stop it.
Rip my head clean off my shoulders.
All right, that's it for tonight. Let me get over here. I got to look at all of our list because I want to make sure I mention all of the cool stuff we got going on this week.
All right.
We've got, let's see here. Dr. Lynn Katai joins us tomorrow. We're going to talk about the 20th anniversary of the Phoenix Lights phenomena. Tim, we are not alone.
We're not?
No, we're not. Jenny Ashford is with us on Wednesday. The Unseen Hand, a new exploration of poltergeist phenomena. Jimmy Church from Fade to Black and Coast to Coast joins us as we talk about the conspiracy of theories. Tim, what drives people to look for nefarious schemes behind tragic events. We'll talk about some outlandish, dumb, and some amazing conspiracies. We'll do that on Thursday. And then Varla Ventura is here. We've got a brand new Theater of the Mind on Friday, and Varla brings us her books, Fairies, Pukas, and Changelings, a complete guide to the wild and wicked enchanted realm. We've got a story called A Chance Encounter with a Changeling, Tim, a real-life encounter from one of our listeners, and we'll be sharing that on Friday as well. We'll be back with you guys next week, a whole brand new slew of shows. We want to thank our sponsors. We have, of course, Amazon.com, or if you're going to make any purchases, visit darknessradio.com. Click on our Killer Deals link. Use those Amazon links to help support your show here. And also check out the Audible program that they've got going on, because if you're a listener of our show, they want to give you a free Audible book to download and a 30-day trial. You can check that all out by visiting audibletrial.com/darkness and start it now. It's a fantastic program, and you guys are going to love it. If you love our Theater of the Mind, Audible is made for you. So you want to check that out too. And then I also wanted to mention real quickly, Tim, I know there are a lot of people that are scratching their heads over the True Crime Tuesday change, but I want you to know it's for the best. I know there's some of you that can't afford the show and won't be able to afford $5 a month, and we won't make them available at one episode that you can pay for just $1.25. That's not available. It's the way they do it. It's a $5 a month program.
Yep.
And you can continue going with that. You can cancel any time if you don't want it, but we're trying to make it available to you guys in a different way. And many of you have been begging us for a source, and now especially that we've been doing this commercial-free source to hear our shows. Well, we can't do that through Podcast One. They've been a great host for us for this show, and we'll continue on with them with Beyond the Darkness. But we wanted to bring a new variety of True Crime Tuesday to you. 2 hours of uninterrupted entertainment, so you can listen to true crime and dumb crime, stupid criminals every Tuesday. And you sign up for that by visiting darknessradio.com. Click on that True Crime banner. You'll find all the information there. $1.25 an episode is what it breaks down to, Tim. $5 a month.
Yeah.
And you'll get the best of our shows. It's all brand new episodes, guaranteed 4 brand new episodes a month, and never a repeat in the bunch. If there are repeats, they will be extra little add-ons that you can listen to. And maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll offer up some of the old archives of True Crime Tuesday as an additional. So maybe we can work something like that out in the future. So you get 2 episodes, a classic episode and a brand new episode every week.
Yeah.
Why don't we look at doing something like that? Let us know your thoughts, but go sign up now. Show your support. Why $5? Because that's the minimum we could possibly go, and make sure that they get their cut. We can pay our studio fees. We can pay our production fees and editing time. We can pay and take care of all things we need to get done and get this show out there. Tim and I are not on a get-rich-quick scheme here. We're going to make pennies on the dollar, but we want to do this, and it's a great way to help keep us afloat as well financially and helping us by doing this. So we can't afford to do it all on our own without advertisers. So if we do it this way, this is the best way to make it available to you. And we were offered originally to bring it out at $9.95 a month, and we said nope, we want to keep it at $5 for our crew, and that's what we're doing for you because we love you and we know that people are on a budget, but we want to continue to bring you top-notch entertainment, and I hope that you'll join us for True Crime Tuesday. And again, you can sign up, subscribe right now at darknessradio.com and click on that True Crime Tuesday banner. Sound good, Tim?
Sounds good to me.
All right. I hope you guys will join us and continue on with us that way. All right. That's it. We'll be back again with you tomorrow right here on Beyond the Darkness.